Yo, what's happening, tribe? So, it's your boy Hills, and this is officially my first reaction video to the conspiracy videos that I said I was gonna be doing. I'm sorry it took so long. I just, life shit happening, but you gotta put your foot down to make time for the things that you want to make time for. So that's what I'm doing now. But I hope y'all's day's going well. I appreciate you rocking with me. And without further ado, let's dive into everything, man. I'm currently having this back and forth with one of my friends about the Hillary Clinton shit and about the video that's going around on the dark web. I have not seen the video personally, but everything that I have been talking about for years since 2018 to now has come true. All the conspiracies that I have mentioned have come true. So I stand very firmly on that. And also, like, her emails was leaked before the Epstein files came out. So like there was a lot of shit in those emails that people could piece together and figure shit out. But you're gonna sit here and try to defend someone who's reportedly done heinous shit to fucking children. Like you're talking about, oh, they can all die, we need to wipe out the government. But when I post something about Hillary Clinton doing something to little girls, you're gonna comment and be like, oh, this is a stretch, this is BS. Like, bro, first off, where's your facts? Where's your facts to come and debunk this? Because without that, nigga, it's still a great possibility. And then on top of that, tied into the Epstein files and everything, with the revelation of children being sex trafficked, tortured, and fucking sex trafficked, tortured, and killed, you're gonna sit there and tell me that it's not a fucking possibility? Bro, you sound fucking delusional as hell. But that's that for about that. But let's get to this, man. So a really big conspiracy right now is Jim Carrey. Do y'all believe that is the real Jim Carrey? I don't at all. From the moment I saw that video, I was like, that is not Jim. Like, something is wrong. Like, they got him, they cloned him. He does not look like him at all. And then the color of his eyes is different. His hair texture is different. Granted, he could have got like some plastic surgery or something for his face, but like, no, like it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look like him. Took a
Who the
shit.
fuck is that? That's not Jim Carrey.
I'm not saying the Illuminati got him.
This is not Jim Carrey. It reminds me of this.
Bro.
And this. And this.
Hold on, let
and
me
this.
pause this really quick. Dude, as soon as I fucking pressed play with this shit, it literally just froze up and then like took a shit. And I'm glad it's back though, but fuck, dude. Well, all right, let's get back to this.
And this.
Every fake news is saying you are not Jim Carrey. That's true or not?
There is a huge conspiracy theory about beloved Hollywood actor Jim Carrey right now that's running rampant through the internet. A man who has always rejected Hollywood, exposed the elites, and tried to wake up the audience to how blinded we've all been to it this whole time. Has Jim Carrey suddenly turned to the dark side? He stepped out this weekend looking completely different, with a totally different eye color that I'll show you, and just acting completely different. His longtime fans were shocked and very worried when they saw him. And this is so unlike him that he suddenly came out of retirement, even though he said he never would. And if he did, it isn't him.
Right.
He allegedly said that in 2022 when he retired. Did the Illuminati finally silence their loudest Hollywood whistleblower and...
But I will say, Jim Carrey has came out and said that Jim Carrey doesn't exist, that it's a character. So, with that being said, with that persona being a character, they couldn't have somebody else filling that role of Jim Carrey now. Like, you gotta stay with me. They try to play these tricks. But, yeah, that's not the original Jim.
Clone and replace him? Is this a punishment? This comes after years of speeches of him exposing government corruption and authority. And right before filming this, he was actually asked if he was a clone and if he's the real Jim Carrey. And I'll tell you what he said. I literally just saw this. This is definitely a conspiracy theory for you, so let's get into it all. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to become a student here at Pop Culture University with your Professor Patty. You know you want to be a student. Like the video to be a good student, and if you don't, I'll bring you to the front of the class and spank you on the booty with a ruler. So share this with a friend also. Or someone you hate and you know they love Jim Carrey, and this is going to worry them. So basically, let's set the scene. It's February 2026, and he steps out to the Caesar Awards in Paris after a little while of retirement. That's basically an Oscar in France. This one was for Lifetime Achievement for him in film, and he was just looking so different.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize it was his video. I'm not a fan of him, but I'm gonna just let it play because this is something that I was like just talking about with one of my homies. So like it is fitting that it's one of the first videos I see, but I'm not a fan of this creator.
Right. It was very uncanny valley, as if he was wearing the mask himself. And he was doing these interviews for a bunch of press simultaneously, a bunch of lights and camera in his face so we could really look at him. And he just had like different cheeks, different chin, different smile, different voice, as if he was wearing the real life mask. Like his face even looked like the proportions of it. He just looked very different. But the craziest piece of evidence here that is shocking and like really worrying people of this conspiracy is that he has different eyes now. It looks like his eye color totally changed from brown to green. Now, this is just speculation from fans, but
and then
brown
his
to green, and they look like they're just sunken in on his face differently.
Just everything
it's
just
very,
looks
very
different.
shocking.
Like his whole
I wonder
face
how Ariana Grande feels. She's a huge Jim Carrey fan. Her first MySpace name was Jim Carrey Fan 42. Is she freaking out?
Yeah,
let me show
like
you more before and afters of just the Jim Carrey that we knew to this new Jim Carrey, because it's caught on like wildfire. Similar to like Zac Efron's face change, which by the way, both look fine. Zac Efron still can outmog anyone. I'm gonna read some reactions while I show you some before and afters. This fan said that every time a celebrity starts speaking up, they kill them and replace them.
I'm glad they used that picture of Zac Efron because Zac Efron has had plastic surgery done, and you can see like it's still Zac Efron under that cosmetic shit. With Jim, it doesn't look like him at all. Like even with all that cosmetic shit, it still looks like somebody else cosplaying as Jim Carrey. It doesn't look like Jim Carrey with cosmetics.
Every single one who has tried to say something. Jim Carrey did this on live television. They end up different, soulless. This will never end. This fan said, as a super fan of Jim Carrey, that's not Jim. I'm devastated.
And
Bryce Hall even said, that is not Jim Carrey. Someone said, quote, he is the last person I expected to buy a new face off Temu.
Right. It's so crazy, like all the like the whole Epstein shit that came out, and like them openly talking about cloning celebrities and shit like that, and then this shit happens. I feel like they did this on purpose. Like they did it to them, and they're gonna be like, let's see how they react. They're not gonna. They're talking about us. They know we're not gonna do anything but fucking speculate. We're not gonna take any kind of actions. So I feel like this is just to fuck with us even more, to distract us.
Went really viral on TikTok, and I was like, okay, that's kind of mean. It had like 500,000 likes. Someone else said, I've never seen anyone look less like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey would never get massive amounts of Botox. Let's be real. This is compelling. Someone said, Jim Carrey, Selena Gomez, what the fuck is going on? These are not them. And to try to pull it in our faces like this, bro, what? So Jim Carrey, he's a 64-year-old man in Hollywood. Plastic surgery isn't a far-fetched possibility. If someone wants to rejuvenate themselves, look any way they want to feel confident and their best self, that's fine. I would never judge someone for doing that. He's a handsome man. He'll always look cute and lovable. That's for sure. But another suspicious piece of evidence is that they were right. He's the last person you would expect to do this to his face, because his face is his whole career. He's known for morphing his face into roles like the Grinch, molding it into his characters like Dumber and Dumber, needing his face to be bendable and pliable. This just doesn't seem like a move that the real Jim Carrey would make. So not only the appearance, but fans have noticed that Jim Carrey is acting very differently as well. He's doing things that the original Jim Carrey would never do. First of all, this was funny when I saw it, but this just shows how much people are putting him under a microscope. He's a known lefty, and I'm not saying he's a liberal. I'm saying he's left-handed.
Right.
And at the award show, he was doing everything with his right hand. That's not a smoking gun, but it is suspicious. His
It's very
mannerisms were totally
suspicious.
different. And on the carpet, someone asked him what his favorite funny face he's ever worn is. And he said, "My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now."
My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now.
Fuck that.
Is it like a
Fuck
subliminal?
them
Is he a
ass.
second place? Is this like Get Out? Also, listen to how he used to talk and how he does now.
I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies.
You know, I wrote it and I researched it and
Right.
I practiced it like crazy, but you know, it's
And then to add to it, I thought about this last night when I watched this clip right here. He's talking like this is his first time like accepting an award or like attending an award ceremony, and like you could hear like the nervousness like in his voice. Like I feel like this was the clone's like first time out in public like accepting a reward, like an award. Yeah, like just if you just listen to what he's saying, it just sounds like he's experiencing like this shit for the first time.
then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Also, Jim Carrey said he was retiring from movies, TV, and acting altogether in 2022 after a decades-long iconic career because he said, unlike other Hollywood stars, he's happy with how much fame, money, recognition, achievements he's gotten, and he has had enough. He's done. Well, his retirement was huge news. And word on the street is that he even went so far to say that if he ever comes out of retirement, it is not him, because he would never do that. Allegedly in 2022, he said that, and that's the last time we kind of see Jim Carrey acting and being like the Jim Carrey that we know.
Yeah.
And then in 2023, he came out of retirement, and now in 2026, he's back full swing, doing award shows and leading the upcoming live-action movie, The Jetsons, in 2026. He said he would not come out of retirement unless the script was golden and it was perfect and something society needed. But live-action The Jetsons and Sonic the Hedgehog, I don't know if he would do that. Like, did Hollywood do something to him and now they're just capitalizing off of the image of Jim Carrey? There's also some conjecture about how people feel like this is a series in a long line of celebrities being replaced or cloned or acting different, looking different. From examples like Britney Spears, Joe Biden, Selena Gomez. Someone even said Kevin Hart. I haven't seen that one, but unfortunately I do get what they mean. They will just all of a sudden not really look like themselves. It'll be a little uncanny, act very different, talk very different. And I can't say I completely disagree with them. His personality and his dispositions has changed towards things he used to reject, which, as a big Jim Carrey fan myself, I really loved how he stood up against society, and he was very spiritual. He used to be someone who'd expose Hollywood and the elites and try to wake up the audience to how blind we are to it. Remember that Jimmy Kimmel interview where he was like exposing the Illuminati, and you know, some could say he was being facetious and trying to make the crowd laugh,
I thought they was gonna
even
get
when he
him
wasn't doing the
around this
Illuminati symbol to expose it, he was speaking facts about how the powers that be, aka the Illuminati, was turning us into mindless consumers and how they just distract us to keep us docile and not
We're mindless
revolting.
consumers. We're stuck in society. We're stuck in this conformity. That's why we haven't united to get these motherfuckers out of office, to get these motherfuckers out of power, because we're so comfortable and we don't want our lives disrupted. That's literally what it is. One of the Rothschilds had said it is consumerism. Like, we're so consumed by it. Like, we're so distracted and blinded by all this shit that we're afraid that if we stand up and act out, we're gonna lose our comfortability, our way of life. And we need to get out of that mindset, or else we're gonna be stuck in not just stuck. You're gonna be content.
And think we're living a great existence when maybe we're not.
People on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh.
I don't know why
so
this
you
is
don't know
split
what's
up right
really
here.
going on.
And he used to do the funniest interviews when he would just hate or be mocking whatever phony Hollywood pretentious event he was at. Remember the E! News interview where he was at like a Harper's Bazaar party honoring icons or something? And he told the interviewer, he was like, this is the most meaningless thing I could think of going to. And the interviewer was like, but don't you believe in icons? And he's like, that is the lowest, bottom of the barrel hanging fruit ever. None of this is real.
There's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
I love that interviewer. I love him. They were both like just so not in the same wavelength. Her face was so funny during that. So people are wondering, did Hollywood need to silence their biggest whistleblower? But they still want to capitalize off of Jim Carrey, so he has this new mask on. Also, he has a long history of giving very powerful speeches and calling out power in a really serious way, though, like not even joking at all. In 2018, he gave a speech calling out capitalism, authoritarian governments, calling out people attacking immigrants or taking children away from their family.
And that's what we have now. We have capitalism without a conscience. Its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do.
He used to not take himself seriously and say that Jim Carrey isn't even a real person, it's just a character he plays, that the universe is just experiencing the average guy that's him. And that's why he doesn't take awards seriously or need extra money by doing these big budget films or anything like that. But now with this France Award show, he seems to be taking it really seriously, and he was just acting like in character, of like an actor that I feel like he would used to mock. And he's showing like a deep reverence for it. Like, oh, shucks, me? Like, I'm so honored by this award. Especially in that E! interview, he's like, icons, that's so stupid. And now he's getting like an iconic award. It's just very interesting. So there's some other theories online explaining why he's changed so much. Fans, I think, are in denial. And they're just like, what if he's just in character and he did stuff to his face because he's a method actor? And he's really becoming a new person because he just thinks Jim Carrey is a facade that he puts on. Someone else said, or hear me out, Jim Carrey hired a lookalike actor to prove a point. People think he like hired a body double to...
You said they feel like Hollywood paid him enough to change? I don't know. Because he was already very wealthy while he was exposing everything. So I don't think an increased amount would make him change like his stance and his stance on everything. Also, like this dude just, when I look at him, I don't feel Jim Carrey. I don't see Jim Carrey. I get a, basically, like when I look at him, I feel like that's a stranger, like 100%. Not saying that I know Jim Carrey in my personal life. I don't know him at all, but there's a sense of familiarity that you have with somebody that you've seen throughout your whole life. Like I'm a Jim Carrey fan. Like I've watched Jim Carrey countless of times, so ever since In Living Color, like where he got his start. I was super young at that age, so like just seeing him throughout these years, he's always had, you know, like he's had his face, like he's had a very like stand out signature like face and like personality and like way he carries himself and everything. And this clone was completely different in every way. The mannerisms, the voice, his appearance, his eyes, just everything was different. And for me, I feel like how they just said he's a method actor and this could be for one of his roles. I feel like the real Jim Carrey would have poured out in some kind of way, whether it had been like during an interview with one of the reporters on the carpet, or seeing him like being goofy and interacting with somebody, one of the other actors like in the crowds, not the crowds, but like at the tables and shit. The way he interacted with them, it was just different. Like it wasn't Jim Carrey to me. So that's where I stand on it. I feel like with them exposing that Britney Spears was cloned and like a few other people, I feel like this is definitely them like playing in our face, like trying to see if we'll catch on and speak out. And I mean, for the most part, we are. People are very vocal about this.
go to the events that he doesn't like to. Someone said he had to have paid somebody to pretend to be him. So basically, right before I filmed this, some reporter, I don't even know if he was a reporter, but ambushed him outside of his car and was like yelling nonstop, "Are you the real Jim Carrey? Are you real? Are you someone else? Are you true? Have you been cloned?" Like, really burgeoning him with these questions. Wouldn't even let him speak, really.
Right.
But you can hear Jim Carrey respond to the question, "Are you the real Jim Carrey?" And he just goes, "What?" Like he's unaware of it. Or is he playing dumb?
Jim Carrey is real original Jim Carrey? Can you answer this, please? Mr. Jim Carrey. Every fake news is saying you are not Jim Carrey. That's true or not? Please, give answer. After Epstein files, you actually say something. That's same or not? Are you true? You same man? Please answer. Please answer.
What do you guys think is going on here, from the personality change to the looks?
All right, so that right there, I could excuse because like you're being bombarded by all these people. You're taking autographs. You have a bunch of reporters taking pictures of you. You got people trying to ask you questions and shit. So that's normal. But also I could kind of argue the point that Jim Carrey would have played along the lines of the joke, like, "Oh no, I'm not the real Jim Carrey," and then like made a funny face, or like, "Oh, am I?" And like I feel like he would have done something to tease you in a sense, like to be like, yeah, he would tease you in a roundabout way, be like, "Oh no, I'm not the real Jim Carrey," and wink at you, like, yes, it's obviously me, but that's just me. I could be overthinking in that.
Changing. Do you think it's just a conspiracy theory, or do you think something real and scary is going on? Let me know. I feel like the conspiracy.
But even like in this picture, like I know right here, like it was edited to have the eyes taken out, but this right here in the middle, and then look at right here, that don't look like Jim to me. That don't look like Jim to me at all. Like he looks significantly different. It looks like somebody in a mask. All right. I kind of want to stay away from the Epstein and Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk shit, because like I feel like I kind of went over that stuff in my Epstein Files videos. So I want to check this out low key, because I follow Trevor Jackson on Instagram, and Trevor Jackson has been very vocal about the Epstein Files, and so I want to see what he says on here. And
if I could pick just one
Cam
product for my
Newton,
silk press,
Cam, I feel like is part of the psyop. I feel like he's here to demasculate men, especially black men. Like if you look at what he wears and like the way he carries himself, like Cam is a big motherfucker. He's a big, strong, built motherfucker. But the way that he dresses and everything is very flamboyant. And like I understand trying to be a fashion icon, like a staple in the fashion world.
410 degrees, and it keeps frizz and humidity under control.
I'm gonna be real. Ain't nobody dressing like that, nigga.
That's $200.
You mean 2,000?
Ain't nobody dressing like him. Ain't nobody looking up to him and fashion wise. Like it makes no sense, and it's pretty obvious, honestly.
For about $1.
Do you feel obligated to use your platform to bring awareness to certain topics and said topics?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it scary sometimes?
You
yes.
should.
100%. You want to be able to.
Sorry, Trevor, but if you are somebody who has a platform, who has a voice that people listen to, it is your duty, your responsibility to use that voice for the betterment of society. If you have a platform and you've been silent about these Epstein files, you are the problem. you're content, and I can't think of the other word, so I'm gonna just move forward. But yeah, it's sad that regular people, want to do something, but the motherfuckers that society looks up to is acting like ain't shit going on.
Work and provide for your family and things like that. So that is something I struggle with, yeah. When I go to bed at night, it's like, what should I say? Should I say it? When should I say it? How should I say it?
What initiative moves you the most?
Transparency, truth. I feel like we're lied to. Like I told you before, I was the conspiracy theorist in my family, for a long time. And now everybody's kind of coming over. I'm like, you see what's going on?
Right.
A lot of BS.
A lot of BS.
Everybody, through the school system, through life.
Y'all have been indoctrinated and brainwashed from the moment you can fucking breathe. The moment you came out of your mom, you was taught to think just like your family. You was taught what was wrong, what was right by your parents, by the people that were around you. And then you get indoctrinated by school. School brainwashes you and beats these lessons into your head constantly, so you stop thinking for yourself. And then after school, there's the TVs, there's the social medias, there's the music. Like, we're all brainwashed by shit constantly, every single day, from the moment that we're born to the moment that we die. We have so much information just thrown at us, and it's up for us to use our discernment to see what is for us and what's not, what is right and what's wrong. And like, we have to get away from that brainwash, that conditioning. We have to recondition our minds.
Like, we're talking about the food you eat, all this stuff, and then you wake up one day and like, oh,
it wasn't a lie.
Okay. And then what scares me more is when I feel like people don't care. Not the people that are doing the wrong, but the people that the wrong is being done to don't really care enough to. They've kind of coped with the lesser version of life because it's what they're used to.
So this is... Sorry. You good. This is my last question. Because you led with the Men in Black, Will Smith kind of conspiracy. You just talked about the conspiracy. What's your biggest conspiracy theory?
The biggest one? I mean, they're all. I mean, a lot of them I feel are accurate. Aliens have been here for a while. Nothing they tell us is really the truth. The president isn't the one who makes the decisions.
That's a big one.
I mean, Jeffrey Epstein just.
The president is a fucking puppet. Fucking Biden. They said Biden was dead in 2019, which means that he was never, or was it 2019 or 18, one of the two. So that means that he was never really our president. Like, the person who was there, they're saying is a clone or like a doppelganger. That's why during his ceremony, it was supposed to be like the 4 cannon salute, but it was only, I believe, 3. It was like 2 to 3 because 2 to 3 is for a funeral and 4 is for the inauguration.
Talked about this, the Rock.
Nothing is done by mistake, especially when it comes to government shit. Like, shit like that, like inaugurations, like government presentations and shit like that, that has to be done to a T. Like, there can't be any faults. Like, they have to be like the most professional. So like, when there's stuff like that happens, there's underlining reasons for it.
Fellers and Ross, these guys, Rothschilds, all of them. I'm scared to even say it right now because my phone might start bugging out or my car might. Trevor Jackson's car. Hey guys, I would never. Okay.
Nah, he's laughing, but he's for real.
Which one do you believe was like, yo, they knew, they didn't tell us?
I believe Martin Luther King was, not Martin from who they said it was. JFK, I think, was the driver is the one who killed JFK, the guy driving the car. I mean,
see, that's why I fuck with Trevor.
So many things.
Did you see that? When he was driving, he was like, bing. You gotta watch that video. Tripping
Right.
out. What? They said,
Yes.
first of all, let me just break this down real quick. I know we have to close. They said JFK was shot however many miles, 3 stories up, back of the head, right? Yeah. But the video, his head goes this way. Now, just physics, I don't know who could get hit in the head this way and then their head go back like that. That doesn't make any sense. 1. 2, watch the video, dude driving goes like this. Boom. Hey, man. It is what it is. They been lying. You seen Umbrella Academy.
Mm-hmm.
It's trippy, dude. It's trippy. It is. Me and my dad, me and my brother talk about this every day. I'm like, okay, guys, did you read this today? Did you see what happened today?
I got one more question though before we end.
Come on.
I'd like real talk.
Come on.
All right, 2 conspiracy theories.
Yes.
If you could go back and be a fly on the wall to witness an event take place, and you know, like, you see it happening, what event would you want to see?
I would want it has to be an event that's happening. I would want to be maybe, not there, but like, I don't know, man, 9/11 maybe.
Well, that's a good one.
That's
a
dark.
good one.
Yeah,
that's very
Just
dark.
because
but that's crazy
you know,
because
a
that's
lot
the
of
first one
firemen
that
talk
popped in my
about
head.
Working on those, and when that was happening, and they were like, there was explosions. Like, they weren't like planes, they were like bombs going off in the buildings. They're like, we've dealt with enough bombs to know, like, something blew up.
Exactly.
You want to know who or what I would have wanted to be? I wanted to be the dog that was barking in Brentwood, California, witnessing O.J. Simpson.
Ooh, scary. Dude, that was
I got chills right there. That's interesting.
Did you see The People vs. O.J.?
Yeah.
That was
Like,
interesting.
So
I wasn't expecting that, Cam.
yeah, I just want to see that.
Yeah.
And I know it's gory.
Yeah.
That's talking about dark.
Yeah, you talk about dark.
It's so many different things. I don't want to see the event happen. I want to see
The aftermath, like
the corruption, because how did one glove get on the side of the house, but it was a thump or a thud that they heard what was that? You know, take me to Nicole when she was at dinner, and boom, that's what I want to witness. And then it was like you seen Crash, where like everybody's
classic.
Yes,
Love that.
and it's like everybody's story to be told, and then it leads to this event, and then the aftermath, and then OJ throws away a bag at the airport with all the stuff. What was in that bag? What do you got in that bag?
What's in the bag, Jake? Put the bag down. Hey.
Bro, we can talk all day, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hey, this was fire, bro.
But yeah, see, that was cool. I ended way, but I definitely agree with Trevor on a lot of those topics. Make sure y'all go like that video. Let me go like it. Boom. But yeah, I don't want to use anyone's content and not give them like the appropriate acknowledgement. Ooh. I want to get into one of these longer ones, but I don't have much time. I got like 30 minutes left before I gotta leave. So we can 30 government conspiracy theories that turned out to be true.
I became aware that was sweeping up everybody's data indiscriminately.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for those long-standing rumors and stories concerning government programs that wound up having connections to real life.
Tuskegee study. No penicillin allowed.
How come I can't get a shot like Caleb got a shot?
Number 30, the CIA and modern art.
This program tells a bizarre story. How, during the Cold War, an arm of the US government provided covert funding for a huge variety of cultural activity.
For decades, skeptics dismissed the abstract expressionist movement of the 1950s as a pretentious bubble, or worse, a cultural scam. Critics felt artists like Jackson Pollock were being artificially propped up by unseen forces. It turns out the skeptics were right. In the heat of the Cold War, the CIA secretly weaponized American abstract art against the Soviet Union. While the Soviets pushed rigid, realistic propaganda, the CIA used the Congress for Cultural Freedom to showcase American creativity as a symbol of liberty. The agency covertly funded gallery tours and promoted favorable critics, turning modern art into a global phenomenon, largely to prove a point to the Russians.
And I don't think it's any more reasonable to say that Pollock was supported by the CIA, and therefore, that's why he became important. He became important because other painters could see what and in how he'd enriched the traditions of art.
Number 29, the FBI versus John Lennon.
I'd know just by reading them.
But know what?
If what I was thinking was true.
Or what were you, is it true?
Well, I guess not.
Right, I'm just a guy, man.
But then, yeah.
In the early 1970s, John Lennon sounded like a paranoid wreck. He claimed the U.S. government was tapping his phones, tailing his car, and trying to deport him to silence his anti-war activism. At the time, most dismissed this as the ramblings of an eccentric rock star. However, released government files later proved Lennon was absolutely correct. The Nixon administration, fearing Lennon could sway the youth vote in the 1972 election, launched a massive surveillance campaign via the FBI and INS. J. Edgar Hoover's own...
If you're too peaceful and you have a big enough voice, you are an enemy. Same thing happened to Bob Marley. It's in the files. It says that he is too peaceful, and they fear the influence that he can have on the people. And then you could argue the same with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was about protecting the kids, about exposing certain people in his own way, and it came out recently in the files that Neverland. Yeah, no, exactly. War definitely drives profit. War and sex trafficking are the two most profitable businesses in the world. Period. But yeah, like I was saying, it came out in the Epstein files that Michael Jackson was actually using Neverland to save kids and protect kids from all of them. But yeah, Sign, you have a good point. War drives profits 100%. War is definitely the most profitable. Especially everything that goes into that: weapons, propaganda, medical, military, just everything. Like it is very lucrative if you're benefiting from it. And then sex trafficking is, so it goes war, and then I think selling of arms is tied into war, and then the sex trafficking is the second. But that's technically like black market stuff. But all the governments are involved in it, so I don't think it's black market stuff. Everybody's fucking involved.
Own files confirm that they were building a bogus deportation case solely to neutralize Lennon's political voice. But no, they did not kill him. Not every conspiracy is correct.
Remember that one, you can radiate everything you are, you can penetrate anywhere you go?
Yeah.
Syndicated. Yeah.
That was just having fun with words.
What is these boat games?
Number
trash,
28, Project 100,000, or McNamara's Morons.
I wrote McNamara's Folly to tell the story of a very sad and tragic chapter in the Vietnam War. And hopefully it will contribute to the possibility that it will never happen again.
A dark rumor persisted during the Vietnam War that the government viewed soldiers as disposable meat, targeting the most vulnerable to fight in an unpopular meat grinder. This was confirmed by Project 100,000, a program initiated by Defense Secretary Robert McNamara in 1966. As troop levels dwindled, the military lowered their standards to draft men who had previously failed mental aptitude tests, many with IQs falling well below average. Dubbed McNamara's morons by cruel contemporaries, these men were sent into combat with little understanding of the complex warfare they faced. Indeed, they died at 3 times the rate of other GIs, proving the government was willing to sacrifice the mentally disabled just to meet a quota.
And then he said, make sure he doesn't get lost. He's one of McNamara's morons. I had never heard the term.
Number 27, Operation Fast and Furious.
For a while. Yeah, explain a lot of people don't know what the Fast and Furious is. It was they had sold guns to the cartel under the guise that this is the way they would track the guns.
Yes.
It seems so fishy.
The idea that the U.S. government would arm the very drug cartels they claim to be fighting sounds like a Hollywood script. Yet between 2009 and 2011, this became a shocking reality. In a botched sting operation known as Fast and Furious, the ATF allowed licensed firearm dealers to sell weapons to illegal straw buyers. The plan...
It's so crazy that shit like this is real. Like, people be like, oh no, this sounds like a movie. It can never be real. Where do you think they got the inspiration from? Art imitates life. And vice versa. But like Judge Dredd, the shit that they used to use to travel around on, that's a fucking segue. They show you stuff, they reveal certain technologies, certain truths in movies and shows so that you think it's so far from the truth. So you can't accept it as reality. Like there's so many movies, so many shows that have bits of truth here and there, but then it's covered up by a whole lot of fabrication, so you don't think anything of it.
The plan was to track the guns across the border and catch Mexican cartel leaders. Instead, the ATF lost track of over 1,400 high-powered weapons. Oops. The incompetence was tragically exposed when 2 of these lost guns were found at the murder scene of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry, the government inadvertently allowing the death of one of their own.
8 minutes past now to this other story. There might be big developments now. The 2010 killing of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. Authorities in Mexico have made an arrest. Terry's death, you might remember, exposed and eventually ended the gun-running operation known as Fast and Furious.
Number 26, Project Azorian.
It wasn't safe enough, though, for us to just go out in a U.S. Navy carrier. And we also needed to create the technology that would go down and grab the submarine from the bottom of the ocean floor and that vessel to house it. So really what we needed was the perfect cover mechanism, and that came in the form of Howard Hughes.
In the 1970s, billionaire Howard Hughes announced he was building a massive ship to mine the ocean floor. While the media bought the story, conspiracy theorists suspected Hughes was fronting for something far more sinister. He was. The ship, the Hughes Glommer Explorer, was actually a giant floating claw built by the CIA for about $5 billion in today's money. Its true mission was Project Azorian, a daring attempt to lift a sunken Soviet submarine from the ocean floor and recover its nuclear secrets. FYI...
I remember not reading this, I remember seeing this, not this exact video, but this topic. I remember seeing this years ago, and how they were saying, like, they were just listing all the things that could go wrong, like, what if they get stopped as they're doing it, or what if the claw that picks it up ends up breaking and stuff like that. Like there was so many doubts about this, but it was very successful. But it's interesting that this is on here. Like it goes to show, like, the government does shit. Like, they have a guise for everything. Like, they'll tell you one thing but be doing another thing. And I want y'all to just keep that in the back of your head and understand that just because they're telling you one thing doesn't mean that that's what it is. Like, there's always more to be told about it, but they tell us the bare minimum.
The sub broke apart while it was being raised, so the whole thing was a massive waste. When asked about the operation, the government famously responded that they could neither confirm nor deny its existence. The now famous Glommer response.
Did you know that the phrase "we can neither confirm nor deny" started right here at CIA?
Number 25, Operation Gladiator.
On November the 9th, 1990, the Prime Minister of Italy, Giulio Andreotti, revealed to his own parliament and the world the existence of a top-secret European-wide network of secret agents. It was called Gladio.
Post-war Europe was a hotbed of rumors about shadow armies, answering to no government. For years, people whispered that NATO had secret paramilitary squads hiding in plain sight. In 1990, the Italian Prime Minister, Giulio Andreotti, finally admitted the truth, Operation Gladio. During the Cold War, the CIA and NATO established secret stay-behind armies across Western Europe, designed to act as a resistance force if the Soviets ever invaded. However, in countries like Italy, these networks didn't stay dormant. They allied with right-wing extremists to carry out false flag terror attacks and then blame the communists, hoping to frighten the public away from voting for left-wing parties.
Right-wing people were, of course, afraid of what they called communist danger in Belgium.
Number 24.
To add on to that, back in the day, black people used to vote Republican a lot. We became Democrats because they started killing the people that, they started unaliving, they started unaliving the people that would be opposing them. And then they did it so much, it got to the point where they were like, well, if you guys don't vote for us, we're going to continue to do this. And if you do vote for us, then you guys get to live, basically. So that's the reason why so many black people are Democrats, because of the conditioning that we have to vote this way to survive. It's crazy as fuck, but that's the truth.
Operation Sea Spray.
Now, if you see graffiti like this in your neighborhood, you can suspect your DNA is being targeted by a release of aluminum into the atmosphere through chemtrails. A systematic spreading of a substance that triggers a genetic response.
One of the most persistent conspiracy theories is that the government sprays chemicals on its citizens from the sky. While the practice of using chemtrails has been consistently debunked, Operation Sea Spray is basically the same thing. In September 1950, the U.S. Navy spent 6 days spraying Serratia marcescens, a bacteria they believed was harmless, into the fog off the coast of San Francisco. Why? Because they wanted to test a coastal city's vulnerability to biowarfare. How messed up is that? The experiment was a success for the Navy, but a disaster for the city. The bacteria caused a massive outbreak of urinary tract infections, hospitalizing residents and even killing a 75-year-old man.
Maybe they're...
Could you imagine dying because your government wanted to test the side effects of something? You're living your regular life, going to work, spending time with your family and everything, and then you sick. Everybody gets sick, so you don't really think nothing of it. You go to the hospital, you end up dying because of complications. But lo and behold, you weren't really sick. You were really sick, but it wasn't caused by normal shit. It was caused... Oh, bro, I highly doubt it's the first time that they've done it. Yeah, no, exactly. I believe that. Shit, I believe COVID was part of that. I'm a firm believer that they did something similar with COVID.
Poisoning our water, the food supply. Maybe they're putting it in those chemtrails behind all those commercial jets that fly over our country every single day.
Food supply, water, like he just said, chemtrails, fucking, and then it's coming from the air, trickling down into our soil and into our skin. It's in our DNA now. Oh yeah, no, I definitely 100%, bro, 110%. That shit is crazy.
Number 23, Operation Popeye.
I'm cold too.
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
The government controls the weather is usually the rallying cry of the Tinfoil Hat Brigade. But during the Vietnam War, the U.S. military made weather modification standard operating procedure. Under Operation Popeye, the 54th Weather Reconnaissance Squadron flew top-secret cloud seeding missions over Laos and Vietnam.
Weather control. I know y'all have seen the videos a couple weeks ago when when it was snowing like across all of America, when we had that big ass winter storm, that snowstorm, there was videos of people like pouring hot water using salt, like using lighters, and the fucking snow wouldn't melt. I saw a video of a guy with a flamethrower, took it to the snow, stood over it for 30 seconds, flamethrower. It was just burnt. He wipes it away, still snow. Last I remembered, well, when I was a kid, when it was snow, that shit would melt like as soon as I touch it. You put a little bit of heat on it and that shit melts instantly. Now you're telling me that you got a flamethrower on it and that shit is just sitting there burning and not melting? That's not snow, that's something else.
Their slogan, make mud, not war. The objective was to extend the monsoon season by dispersing canisters of silver and lead iodide into the atmosphere. This resulted in intense rain washing out the Ho Chi Minh Trail and disrupting enemy logistics. It actually worked. In fact, it worked so well that when the program finally leaked, it led to an international UN treaty banning the use of environmental warfare.
One day, it started raining, and it didn't quit for 4 months.
Off the rip!
Number 22, Acoustic Kitty. If you told someone the government was abducting house cats, performing surgery on them, and turning them into cyborgs, you'd be laughed out of the room. Yet the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology
really quick. Alright.
This in the 1960s.
Sorry about that. I had a phone call, y'all.
Kitty, they surgically implanted a microphone in a cat's ear and a radio transmitter at the base of its skull. This cost about $150 million in today's money, by the way. The plan was to have the cat sit near Soviet agents on park benches and record their conversations. No, seriously, this is a real thing they actually tried. But the concept of cat spies unraveled quickly. According to legend, during the very first field test, the cat wandered into the street and was promptly hit by a taxi. Number 21, the Stargate Project.
The Pentagon feels that the Stargate project, while exposing Earth to considerable danger, is yet to produce any practical returns.
For years, rumors persisted that the U.S. government was wasting taxpayer money on studying the paranormal. Guess what? The government was studying the paranormal. Fearing the Soviets were developing psychotronic mind control weapons, the DIA and CIA spent roughly $20 million on the Stargate project. Running for 2 decades, the program employed so-called psychic spies like Uri Geller to use remote viewing to see inside secret enemy bunkers. Yeah, this is basically what they did with 11 and Stranger Things. The program was eventually declassified and shut down in 1995, after concluding that magic wasn't reliable enough for genuine military intel. Bummer.
How far, Papa?
Farther than we've ever gone before.
The bath?
Yes. Yes, the bath. Is that okay?
Number 20, Project Mockingbird.
Thomas says although the official release offers no stunning revelations, it may spark more debate about frustrations within the intelligence community.
It wasn't until 2007 when a series of documents known as the Family Jewels revealed secret CIA operations such as Project Mockingbird to the public. This was a wiretapping operation ordered by then-President John F. Kennedy. It targeted American journalists such as Hanson Baldwin of the New York Times, whose coverage of national security topics contained information that was considered classified. The purpose of Project Mockingbird was essentially to uncover the source of these leaks to Baldwin, as well as other reporters whose work was considered detrimental to the administration.
The CIA also put journalists under surveillance, like columnist Jack Anderson and his then assistant, Britt Hume. Former Washington Post reporter Michael Gettler was monitored by a team of agents round the clock.
Number 19, the business plot. The idea of a shadow government of wealthy elites plotting to overthrow the president is the holy grail of conspiracy theories. But in 1933, it actually happened. Well,
not only did it actually happen, this is our norm. Is big businesses and I'll just say the ruling class. It's the ruling class that decides on who's our leaders. It's not our votes. It's not us as a people. It's them. They give us a couple puppets to choose from. We as a people listen to what these puppets have to say, these lies that they're telling us to make us feel good and get our vote. And then they get in the office and do nothing that they said that they were going to do. they're puppets. I will. I'm gonna save that for another day. I'm not gonna speak on that right now. We just getting started. I ain't trying to get the page shut down already, but we'll definitely have deeper, more in-depth talks about this and who I think runs a lot of the shit that goes on here. Y'all are aware of the Epstein files, and y'all are aware of who employed him. So I'll just leave it at that.
Almost. Major General Smedley Butler, a decorated Marine hero, came forward to Congress testifying that he had been approached by a group of wealthy Wall Street bankers and industrialists. Their plan was to stage a fascist military coup to oust President Franklin D. Roosevelt and replace him with a dictator friendly to big business. While ridiculed at first, a congressional committee confirmed that credible evidence of the plot did exist, though no bankers were ever prosecuted.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys.
Number 18, Dalai Lama and the CIA.
We had this group and we trained them, and the people who did the training, of course, fell in love with them. From an emotional point of view, quite apart from national interest and pragmatic situation, all that, we felt so strongly about the Tibetans themselves and the Tibetan cause.
Yes, it's true that the 14th Dalai Lama actually collaborated with the American Central Intelligence Agency, although it should be said that this spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism wasn't initially aware of the operation. It was actually siblings of the Dalai Lama that initiated contact with the CIA, working together in support of Tibetan resistance to China.
I admire them so. They face a modern equipped army, and still they fight.
This collaboration also worked in the United States' favor since it actively targeted communist activity during the Cold War. The CIA Tibetan program didn't endure, however, effectively falling by the wayside in the aftermath of former President Richard Nixon's diplomatic visit to China in 1972.
I think nobody say Dalai Lama of China. All everywhere say Dalai Lama of Tibet.
Number 17, bad vax.
No one knew whether it was safe, whether it would be effective, but people were so both afraid and believers that they'd volunteer their school kids to be guinea pigs for this new vaccine.
Political controversies over a vaccine weren't solely the product of the 2020 COVID.
Also, the vaccines, the way that they went about everything let me know that it was a scam. Like, it was a facade. They were so adamant about it, but at the job I was working at the time, if you got hired, I was the last hired group that didn't have to get the vaccine. Everybody else after me was mandated to get the vaccine. And then on top of that, you had to constantly do tests. I haven't done one COVID test, and I've never got vaccinated. But I know people who got vaccinated whose bodies rejected it, where their bodies started scabbing up and shit randomly because of it. I have a homegirl from Georgia I went to high school with. She knows a professional golfer who wasn't able to attend any golf tournaments until he got his vaccination. And then once he got his vaccination, it fucked with his body so much that he could no longer participate. So, like, and that's just scratching the surface. Like, there's so many other stories that are like that out there. That vaccine was not the way to go. And I remember my mom got the vaccine, and I was so upset with her because she got it. But you got to let everybody make their own decisions. You can't make decisions for anybody. So I try not to think of the negative outcomes when it comes to that in my mom. But so far, my mom's been fine. There have been moments where she has gotten sick. There have been moments where she said that her immune system feels weaker because of it. And, we try to deal with that whenever it occurs. She's healthy, though. So, yeah. But I'm basically making these kind of videos because I don't want y'all to think what the government says is law and like that 100% truth. Like, they lie to us constantly. They'll tell you something's good for you and it could kill you. Like earlier in this video when they were mentioning the Tuskegee testing, they gave all the black men, I think it was syphilis, and they didn't cure it. They wanted to see what the long-term effects of syphilis would be. They tested that on their very own black soldiers. If they're going to test that on their soldiers, you think they give a fuck about me and you, some regular people who don't do nothing for them?
COVID-19 pandemic. Early versions of an oral vaccine intended to combat polio were actually found to have contained trace amounts of SV40. This was a virus commonly found in monkeys that was known in some cases to cause cancer in certain animals. Scientists worried about the potential spread to humans, although no actual cases of cancer infection were found as a result of exposure to SV40. Still, bad polio vaccinations containing the virus were distributed to Americans for 6 years, between 1955 and 1961.
In 1952, Jonas Salk developed an effective vaccine, and by 1954, children were lined up everywhere to get it.
Number 16, the Nayera testimony.
It was the first time, I think, when the American people were focused on what was happening to the Kuwaiti citizens at the hands of the Iraqi soldiers.
It seems beyond the pale that organizations such as Amnesty International would, at least initially, corroborate the false testimony Nayera El-Sabah delivered to a human rights caucus back in 1990. The truth is that El-Sabah's claims against Iraqi soldiers, stories of wartime atrocities against children, were lies.
If an Iraqi soldier is found dead in a neighborhood, they burned to the ground all the houses in the general vicinity and would not let firefighters come until the only ash and rubble was left.
The young girl was revealed to have been working with the exiled Kuwaiti government in a propaganda scheme, one that was intended to drum up international support for American military action in the region.
You have
Crocodile tears, bro.
You type it in, and then you go.
Bullshit ass tears.
Amnesty International did eventually discover the truth and publicly criticize the administration of George H.W. Bush for their involvement in the scandal.
That funding had one purpose: to get a lethargic American public to support intervention and a war against Iraq.
Number 15, Madam President.
And they prop up Woodrow Wilson in the Oval Office. So he's like sitting there and they like move his arm and then they just release that to the press. And that's how dumb people were back then.
A serious decline in the health of a sitting president can potentially prove disastrous for any country. The United States largely attempted to keep the health of its 28th Commander-in-Chief, Woodrow Wilson, a closely guarded secret. The president suffered a severe stroke on October 2, 1919, a medical emergency from which he would never really recover. Wilson relied upon multiple members of his inner circle during this time, including the First Lady Edith Wilson. Today, the president's wife is seen by many historians as a de facto leader, the nation's first female president in everything but name only.
I can't do it. It's too great a responsibility.
Even though his life may depend upon it?
In that case, there's only one answer. I'll try.
Number 14, Operation Paperclip.
Today, I'm proud to be heading up the American program that will one day take us to the moon.
In the aftermath of World War II, there were a lot of moving political parts, but it seems beyond...
Also, do y'all think we went to the moon? And if so, if you think that we went to the moon, why do you feel like we haven't gone back? I feel like we didn't go to the moon. I feel like it was staged. I feel like it was propaganda so that we could win the space race and also get a foot ahead of the Soviet Union. But I feel like we didn't do it, and the fact that we haven't gone back shows us that we never had the capabilities of going.
Comprehension that the United States would welcome their former Nazi enemies into their scientific community. Yet that was essentially the purpose of Operation Paperclip, a lifting of elite scientific minds from Germany, some who were former members of the Nazi Party. It was actually initialized while World War II was still technically going on. The purpose was ostensibly for the U.S. to learn from their enemies, while at the same time getting a leg up for the emerging Cold War.
And the prevailing motion will be one of nostalgia for those left behind.
I feel that, Sion, but do you know what NASA means in Hebrew? Like what the root word for NASA is? Like what not the root word, but the root meaning of NASA? But also like we could get into space talks, like definitely. I feel like the ocean has a lot to do with space. I feel like we could learn a lot from space through the ocean. I feel like there's underwater portals that help us get to other places that we haven't, well, not have it, but places that aren't documented to the public. I feel like there are stargates in the ocean. Hence why a lot of UFO sightings come from the ocean. I think they're using portals that are in the ocean to traverse back and forth. But what you had mentioned about us not going back to the moon because it takes billions of dollars. Yes, it does. It is a very expensive project, but in all this time we haven't had enough money to do that. Okay. I like that you are aware of its original meaning, and then also the other one. So that's why I fuck with you, Sion. Why I fuck with you heavy. But where was I? I was talking about the Stargates, space. Oh yeah. With that being said, with it being so expensive for us to go back to the moon, I personally feel like we could have already had that money to have done that. Like, there's so much money in today's world, like that somebody could have sponsored that. Somebody, like a bunch of people could have came together, like government officials, and done that. And also, money is fake, so they could have printed off whatever the fuck they wanted and done this if that was the case. But I don't believe we have the true capabilities of going to the moon. And then also, when it comes to the moon, why do we only see one side of the moon? We only see the face of the moon. We never see the back of the moon. We've only ever seen the face of it. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. We definitely should focus more on what's in our oceans than what's in space. Because one, the oceans has a bunch of sunken civilizations, sunken ships. There's a lot of information that is sunken at the bottom of the ocean. As well, water retains memory. So, like, there's a whole lot of information in the ocean that we need to be able to tap into. But also that I feel like that ties into why it's illegal to communicate with dolphins, because dolphins, they are this video that I've seen said that dolphins they communicate psychically, and that if we were to communicate with them, they would open something up in us. You see, that is where the deception lies. Government officials and people with money don't want to help with any cause. They'd rather bathe than rich. Oh yeah, no, I agree 100%. They're in that position because they're greedy and they hold on to their wealth and everything. So like I agree with you like 100% on that. But there have been expeditions that have been done, and also we've sent other rockets into space, like to space stations and shit. So it's like, how do we have the money to do that, but not to go a bit further to the moon? And also the fucking the joint missions that they be having. There's a lot of missions that we aren't aware of that be going on, and they haven't come out with no new information about the moon. They went to the moon before I was born, and haven't came out with no new information since then. Yeah, no, I know that. But don't get me started on Elon. I don't like Elon. Elon seems like a very... He's a fucking loser. Like, you got curved by Epstein to come kick it on the island. That lets me know, like, you're a fucking loser. Don't nobody want to do with you. Two, he associates with a lot of dark things. And, like, I believe he is a Satanist. Oh, I love... See, like, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. And, like, I love the world. I love the universe. So, like, I love talking about stuff like this because it's, like, it's informational. It gets your mind thinking. It gets you thinking a lot deeper. Bro, yes. So, me, I feel like a black hole, I feel like it's not... So, what is told to us is that, like, they say, like, inside the black hole is nothingness. Like, it just sucks everything in and then there's no more life. I feel like a black hole is a wormhole. I feel like that's just going to shoot you out somewhere if you survive. It may distort some shit, but I feel like you're going to come out on the other side, like, not here. You're going to be somewhere else completely. And, similar to, like, vortexes and shit in the ocean. Like, I feel like it's portals, bro. Now, I'm not talking about, like, a surface vortex, like, in the ocean, but, like, the vortexes that be, like, deep in the ocean. I feel like that could be some shit.
Combined with a spirit of bold curiosity for the adventure ahead.
Number 13, the Tuskegee syphilis
Oh,
study.
see, look, I was just talking about this.
199 men were told they had syphilis. None of them were treated with effective panaceas. None of their families were ever warned, and none consented to take part in what is now known as the Tuskegee syphilis experiment.
It's unclear exactly how long the Tuskegee syphilis study would have gone on had not news of the scandal leaked in 1972. This was a medical study that lasted long after funding ran out. For an astonishing 40 years, it was an observation of how syphilis manifested itself in an untreated body. Information and treatments were intentionally withheld from the volunteers of the study, who were black men who were promised free health care.
Hey, how come that needle's so big? I ain't never seen no needle that color, Miss Evers.
That's a gold needle. Lay down here.
It's real gold?
Yeah.
Could you use up to
Yeah,
$800?
see?
Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you.
And then a fucking BioLife commercial pops up. And I don't trust you,
Public
niggas.
Health Service, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the historically black Tuskegee Institute behaved unethically.
Right, because black holes, they even suck in light. Like, they distort light. Like, so, like, they literally suck in everything. So, that shit just gets my mind racing, bro.
Until they were caught.
The government settled out of court for $10 million to be divided among the survivors and...
And Sion, I appreciate you so much because I like that we can have our disagreements but still discuss things intellectually and not argue about it. Like, I value that so much.
relatives of those who had died.
Number 12, surveillance state.
Generally, there is consensus that mass surveillance is a bad thing. While
that is the fact. They don't give a fuck about your skin color. They think about what can you provide, what can they get out of you, how are you a benefit to them. That's all it is. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about your skin color. Granted, they will give white people more of a chance than us. But other than that, they really don't give a fuck.
Targeted surveillance is tolerable because they go after very specific individuals or very specific groups.
Who decides what's private? Obviously not us, since we all travel around on a daily basis with eyes of the surveillance state lurking within our pockets. The whistleblowing of Edward Snowden back in 2013 essentially said out loud what many of us were already thinking in our heads.
And it's become an expectation that we're being watched. Many people I've talked to have mentioned that they're careful about what they type into search engines.
They're watching us, governments, telecommunications companies, and yes, our cell phones. The United States National Security Agency sees and stores all of our private data, information that's now probably the most valuable currency in the world. Those proverbial eyes in the skies aren't the subject of scientific fiction novels anymore. They're very much real.
The amount of data PRISM and other monitoring programs pick up, trillions of communications each year, is so vast, NSA is building this sprawling $2 billion facility in Utah just to store it all.
Number 11, Watergate.
My dad was simply known as the double cross.
And no, I'm the same way. Like, of course, I'm always have my black pride and black love. Like, I'm always going to be an advocate for black prosperity. But I love all people. I have no hate in my heart for any kind of people at all. For any race at all. It's all love. Like you said, we all bleed the same. We all breathe the same air. We all eat the same food. Like I'm 100% for humanity. So I don't ever want anyone to think like I'm prejudiced, racist, or anything like that at all. Not at all. See, and right, like I have a lot of black friends, obviously, like me being black, but I have friends of different races that like I've grown up with. Like I have my homie Jose, that's my brother. Can't nobody tell me different. He's full-blooded Mexican, but that's my brother. His family knows me, my family knows him, and like we're intertwined. Where we're like this. I got a homie out here, my boy Dylan. He's white and Chinese. We talk about shit like this all the time. I used to tell him about the shit that was in the Epstein files. I used to tell him about that shit all the time, and he thought I was crazy. But then when the files came out, I messaged him. I was like, "You still think I'm crazy?" And he was like, "Bro," he was like, "You were right, but I will say I don't agree with you about the flat Earth." And I was like, "That's perfectly fine. Like that's not what we're discussing right now. We're discussing this other stuff." But like I have friends in all different kinds of walks of life. Like I have homies in the corporate world. I have country ass friends. I got city homies. Like I got friends in different countries and shit. Like my friend group is very diversified. And I'm grateful for it because I got to learn not only new perspectives, but like different ways of lives and like the different customs and stuff like that. So like I appreciate it, especially like for me, I was born in California, but I've been moving like from I was born in California, so from me being born to the age of 13, I was in California, and then Alaska. I was in Alaska from like 2 to 13, and then from there it was like Virginia, Maryland, DC, Georgia, Hawaii, like all these other places. So like I got to meet different people and like see different ways of life and different values and stuff. The files don't surprise me. The factors of money are as follow. Money produces greed. Greed produces envy. Envy produces evil. I agree with you 100% on that. 110%. And then also to add on to that, when you have so much money like Epstein did, you feel invincible. You feel like you can do whatever you want. especially like when you have all these powerful people in your pocket because you have blackmail on them. And in all honesty, like, these kind of tales are told to us in books and shit from years ago. Like, the world's most dangerous game, about them hunting people, about rich parties hunting humans. Fucking Squid Games, about the elite fucking having these fucking games, to basically sacrificial games to where there will be one winner. Like, there's so many things that depict what's going on in our actual world, but we're oblivious to it because it has that title, movie, or show next to it. I mean, that is what the government has proven to us people that don't have money. You either are so rich you're untouchable, or you're so poor you're touchable. No, that is 100% facts, bro. 100% facts. And it's sad, honestly. If you have enough money, enough influence, you could get away with murder. If you're regular Joe Schmo, clocks in and out every day, they'll find you for fucking stealing a banana. But let these government officials get exposed for touching children, and ain't shit happen to them. It's just sad as fuck. But I'm sorry I didn't get through the video, y'all. We got like 20 more minutes into it, but I gotta bounce. I gotta be somewhere in 15. So I'll definitely be back on later. Probably, it's 2:20 right now. I'll probably be on around like 5:30. I'll probably pick back up on this. Probably not do this video, but like a different video, and then get into the gaming from there. And then when we wrap up for the night, I'll do my my paranormal segment. But Scion, I truly appreciate you coming through, my boy. I truly enjoy the conversations that we were having over these topics. I look forward to having more of those conversations with you. Everybody else, thank y'all for tuning in. And hold up, let me get y'all on a full screen. All right, and we here. All right, tribe, I want to thank y'all so much for coming through. I'm still very new to this, but I'm trying to get more involved and like locked in with this. I will be transparent that I did have moments where I was having doubts about it, but you know, it's like, fuck it. Like, I enjoy doing this, and I'm gonna keep doing it regardless. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Yeah, thank you so much, Zion. And I'm definitely gonna tap in with y'all later. But y'all be safe. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and keep a lookout for my next one. Much love. I appreciate y'all. Peace out.